Okay, so good evening. So this is first week, May, Environment Current Affairs. So we'll start with first part that is related to biodiversity. Okay? This is your third synchronized Nilgiri Thar. Nilgiri Thar is something that is, this animal is there in your previous year questions also multiple times. You will find that questions are asked about Nilgiri Thar. Okay? So first of all, Tamil Nadu, okay. Tamil Nadu has launched this third synchronized Nilgiri Thar survey, and this is conducted with Kerala across the Western Ghats. Okay. So first of all, where is it located? Location. That means location or distribution. Where is it present in highest density? What is the habitat that it prefers? Okay, this must be known to us. This must be known to us from the previous year questions point of view. So what has happened in its surveys is that there has been simultaneous counting across the states, and this is to avoid any kind of duplication. That means there are certain types of identification markers. Identification markers are there so that they analyze how many of these individuals are remaining in the wild. Okay? Coverage is 3000, approximately 3100 kilometer, 14 forest divisions, and it is from Ashambhu Motai to Tavala Malai. Okay, this is the name of the districts. This is Kanyakumari basically. Okay. So from this point onwards up until this is Gudalur. Okay. So the survey has taken up, and it has taken up across the coverage 3100 kilometers. So Nilgiri Thar, you can use this picture. Next, technology and scientific methodology. What have we used in this kind of survey? There is an app called Varudai mobile app, and it is a web-based monitoring system. What happens is, there is a tech layer, there is also a human layer. Okay? Human layer and then tech layer to this application. Okay? Not all of it is based in technology, it is just based upon that where are the animals are at present point of time. Okay? Present, or where are they seemingly located. Present location. Okay? So first of all, what happens is the humans, that means the people who are there as forest watchers, they will go into these zones and they will define all of these places like this. It will be defined ki kahan pe you will have these forest divisions, and it will help to accurately, somewhat accurately divide, must have the division of the distribution of animals. Okay? When that human observes, when that forest watcher observes this, he will directly feed it in the technology layer. That means it will locate where the animal is at present point of time, or where the location would be probably in that zone. So functions, one is real-time data collection. Okay? Real-time data collection. This GPS tracking is not like you attach a you attach a GPS positioning system to the collar of the Nilgiri Thar or any kind of animals. It is just that there must be people who must verify. This verification is done by people. Okay, people who are, or observers. Okay? And there is a standardized reporting for all of this information to be fed into the app whenever they see. Scientific credibility. There is scientific credibility because it involves the various institutions. There is participation by IUCN. Then you have Botanical Survey of India. And then you have Wildlife Trust of India. Wildlife Trust of India. Okay. IUCN, why? IUCN is required. IUCN is someone, it publishes what? Red list. This red list is about what? Understanding how many individuals are there in the wild. Based on that, it will try to categorize whether it is critically endangered, and so on. Then static part for us, where is it located? from these three pictures, a lot of things will be clear. Mainly located here in the Western Ghats. In the Western Ghats. Okay? Shola forests. These are Shola forests. Shola forests, we mean that it is a combination of forest as well as grasslands. Forest and grasslands both are present. And where is the maximum density? It is in Aravikulam National Park. Aravikulam National Park. Okay? Other static facts that may be important for your prelims. It is also called Varayadu or Nilgiri ibex. Nilgiri ibex. It is endemic. Endemic means that it is found, it is native of Western Ghats. Western Ghats only, map. Then it is also the state animal of Tamil Nadu. State animal of Tamil Nadu. What is the habitat? Habitat is montane grasslands. That means the grasslands that are there over the mountains, and Shola forests. That means combination of both. We talk about ecosystems, forest, grasslands, deserts. It is a combination of both when we are talking about the Shola forests. Distribution, the largest population is found in Aravikulam National Park, also in Palani Hills, Sriviliputtur, Meghanamalai and Agasthyar. These you will have to locate on the map. What is the lifespan? Lifespan is approximately 9 years. Lifespan. And whether they are nocturnal, are they nocturnal? No, they are diurnal. Diurnal in nature. Next, what is the status, threats and ecological role? Basically understand who are their friends and who are important for our exam. One is Nilgiri, Langur, and this is lion-tailed macaque. Okay? So these two examples, they share the habitat with whom? Nilgiri, Langur and lion-tailed macaque. This is also important. These are also asked in your exam. Okay? So this means this habitat we are talking about what kind of habitat? Grasslands and forests, both, the combination of both. Okay? They are endemic species. Nilgiri Thar, we have seen Nilgiri Thar is endemic. Endemic to which part? Western Ghats. Okay? It is also indicator species. Indicator species. Okay? Indicator of what? Montane grassland health. It is the prey base for leopard and tigers. That means, talking about the apex predators, we are talking about leopards and we are talking about tigers. We are asking if the population of tiger has to be sustained, then how much population of there should be there for Nilgiri Thar. Conservation status. Acha, with respect to leopard, what is the IUCN status for leopard? For leopard? Vulnerable. Tiger? Endangered. For Nilgiri Thar, it is again endangered. ठीक है, ऐसे याद रखो. Entar. ठीक है. Wildlife Protection Act 1972 Schedule 1. Of course, it will be in Schedule 1. And then what are the threats? Threats will be related to the destruction of these kind of habitat. When we are talking about forest and grasslands, usually you will find that grasslands are treated as wastelands, and because of that, habitat degradation takes place. Also, the forests, there is continuous projects, hydroelectric projects are there. Therefore, there is deforestation. Monoculture plantations. Monoculture plantations means that there is reduction or there is no variety of the different types of trees that are required for its consumption that are there. Livestock competition. Okay, competition, livestock, this is particularly about the grasslands. That means you will have pastures where the cattle will also graze, and therefore there will always be a competition between these herbivores. Poaching. Poaching is another issue that is also related to your human-wildlife conflict. Then Project Nilgiri Thar was there in 2023. This you have to remember. 2023 Project Nilgiri Thar. Okay, three things it talks about. One is habitat management. When we talk about the habitat, you're talking about the mountain, grasslands, shola forests, maintenance of these shola forests, along with measuring how much number of Nilgiri Thar are present. ठीक है, population monitoring and scientific conservation. Scientific conservation का क्या मतलब होता है? We are talking about in scientific conservation. We are saying that it should not exceed. First of all, it should not go beyond a particular number. It should not go beyond a particular number because it has to sustain the apex predators. The second thing is it should not also increase in such quantities that it exceeds the ecosystem capacity. है ना? So both of this has to be ensured, and that is scientific conservation. When we talk about Wildlife Protection Act, who is in charge of when we talk about the culling of animals? Culling means killing of animals, or you could say. With regards to scientific conservation, who is the person that you can ask if you want to kill an animal for whatever purpose? Because the animal is spreading diseases, because central government, nahi. Chief Wildlife Warden will allow the culling of animals. Okay, next topic is about biodiversity again, and this is important and this is very interesting also. Biodiversity. Okay, and biodiversity, maybe we are talking about, or we could talk about the functions, the principles of ecology, and in principles of ecology you could talk about variation, you could talk about adaptation. Okay, so this is something that is seen in marine animals. Eye spots, basically eye spots in marine animals. Okay, marine animals. So what are eye spots? Basically these spots. Why are they called eye spots? Because they look like eyes. Okay? But are they actually eyes? No, they are not eyes, they just look like eyes. And there has been study in the Nature, that is the magazine, explains the evolutionary role of eye spots in marine animals like skates and rays. We'll see their pictures. This is just talking about the marine animals. I have given you the picture of the terrestrial ones. Okay? Butterflies will also exhibit eye spots. Peacocks will also exhibit these eye spots. So what are eye spots? These are eye-like circular markings. Okay? Second thing, they are used as visual defense mechanisms. How does it serve as a defense mechanism? It is because whenever another predator is actually observing them, they will feel as if it is the eye. Okay, so they will always deflect. Okay, these eye spots will be able to deflect the incoming predator. Okay, and it will save the insect. Okay, so it is a visual defense mechanism. Functions, what are the functions? One is to confuse predators, confuse the predator, that whether the animal or the insect is looking towards them or is it just a mark on their body. Okay? One. Second, intimidate predators because it does not move. Okay, this is an eye spot and it will seem that it is not moving. It is just staring the other predator in their eyes. So it intimidates. It deters attacks. It deters attacks by the animals. What are the examples? Who will exhibit eye spots? Butterflies, birds also. If you Google, there are certain birds that will also exhibit eye spots. And then marine animals that we are going to talk about, skates and rays. Okay? Now, evolution and ecological significance. So, evolutionary pattern. Okay, earlier it was observed that these markings were not present. When we talk about the evolutionary pattern, it was not as if it was present in their ancestors since the beginning of the time. You'll find that there were very small markings or very underdeveloped markings. but slowly as their population gets eliminated, okay, there is predator attack, and you will find that those kind of organisms that start showing, or they have developed certain types of complex concentric rings that show like eye spots, these would be the ones that will survive more. They survive more. And this is how your natural selection takes place. Natural selection. So this means I will have only such species in the future. Only such species, because the other species are getting eliminated because they are getting attacked. This indicates adaptive evolution over time. Adaptive evolution. Okay. Evolution that needs to adapt because it needs to survive. The need for survival makes it to adapt. And adaptation is something that is inherited. Matlab, it will be there present as a characteristic in the offsprings. Now, where commonly formed? Small marine species, stings and rays we are seeing, they're shallow, well-lit waters. Okay, only in well-lit waters, that is less than 200 meters, we are talking about photic zone. Okay, that means such a feature is there, it needs to be seen by the other animals for it to protect itself, only in well-lit waters. The reason? Visual signals will work best in bright environments. Ecological insight. What is the ecological insight? Important. It is more common in species lacking strong physical defense. This is how the adaptive evolution works. That means if there is no option of protecting yourself physically, that means you do not have the required strength, or you do not have the required features to protect yourself, then you will have these eye spots. Okay? Eye spots. That means they have no venom. No venom means they have no such substance that they can release that will kill the other predator. They will have no electric organs. And in this case, eye spots are available as physical defense. Okay, interesting term. We talk about human arms race. This is evolutionary arms race. है ना? This is a sting and a ray. Okay, they look quite similar, but they are different animals. This is a ray, this is a sting. Okay, it has this kind of a tail spike is there in ray, and you will have no such tail spike in skates. And you can see that there is presence of eye spots. Okay, from this picture it is cleared. Where do they live? Almost near to the ground. है ना? Or yes, benthic organisms. Okay. And where will you find such kind of organisms? In the coastal or the continental shelf regions. These regions you will find these animals. Defense mechanism. Venomous spines, that means they can release poison. They are having electric organs, that means if you touch it, they will release an electric shock. Eye spots, it is to deflect. This is to deflect. Okay? So this means they are complete set of weaponry. They are having the poison. They also can, when they are touched, they can also exhibit electric shock. And camouflage. This means that they can disappear in their background. This is especially important for hunting as well as preventing getting hunted. This thing is there, but you don't have to remember. It belongs to superorder Batodia. Closely related to sharks, 600 plus species. What are the characteristics? You can see from the shapes and also the texture of it. They are cartilaginous fishes. Okay, we know about bee farm. That is when we talk about vertebrates. These are birds, fishes, amphibians, reptiles and mammals. So where are they listed? They are in fishes. Okay? Flattened bodies, and they have wing-like pectoral fins. Fins for swimming. Okay? So this is about stingrays as well as skates. Next is Kerala restoration. of sacred groves. Sacred groves. Okay. So Kerala has launched a pilot program for sacred grove restoration. Okay. You can see this, that there is a deity. Okay. Sacred, why do we say sacred groves? Sacred means they believe, the community believes that there is God within this area. That means there is a forest, so they have to conserve it. And they are not going to touch any part of this, they are not going to take anything out of this forest because they consider this as a home of the deity that they are worshipping. Okay? So sacred groves, community believes that it belongs to a deity. Okay? And this works wonders. This works wonders with the conservation program. Okay? That means they are not going to allow anyone to come and exploit this forest. Okay? There is a Maflong sacred forest in Meghalaya. You'll find that they will not let you to take anything from the forest once you enter that. Okay? You can just go inside, visit, have a look around, and then come back outside. Okay? Core approach, it is about combining traditional cultural protection. That means you are already devoting god-like status, deity-like status to this forest, and therefore conservation is already being there. Second, scientific biodiversity management. Scientific biodiversity management and community participation. All of these are combined. Major components it is talking about, this restoration of sacred groves is going to talk about the nurseries, removal of invasive species, okay, that destroy the forest. That means that destroy the home of their deity. Eco restoration of ponds and habitats. These are the things, these are the components that is there in the restoration. For us, it is important in the exam. It is important to know sacred groves are protected under which act? Which act? You have heard about community reserve. Community reserve comes under which act? WPA, Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, community reserve, and you have community reserve management committee, in which you will have the members of the community itself being represented. Next, what are the restrictions here? First of all, what are the sacred groves? One, we have already seen patches of forest protected by whom? Local communities. Dedicated to whom? It can be dedicated to deities also. It can be dedicated to ancestral spirits also. Basically, something that they worship, something that they respect. Okay. Core principle, nature is treated as sacred. Type of conservation, ex situ or in situ. This is in situ conservation because it is happening at the same habitat. What are the restrictions? What are the don'ts of this sacred groves? That means what you are not supposed to do. No tree cutting. You cannot cut a tree. Okay. No hunting, no removal of biomass. No removal of biomass. That means anything that falls, even if there is a dead animal, you cannot move it out of the forest. Okay. This is actually a picture of Maflong forest. This is in Meghalaya. And they will give you specific instruction that even if there is a stone, you should not move it. Move it outside the forest. Okay, you can play with it within the forest and leave it there. Now, expanding on what the restoration measures are for Kerala. So one, Kavu nurseries, it is the propagation of native and medicinal plants, That means they are trying to protect and promote traditional knowledge about medicinal plants. Okay. Second, restores endemic biodiversity. Endemic, again, we are talking about the kind of biodiversity native to this sacred grove, belongs to this sacred grove. Second, invasive species management. That means what are invasive species? Again, the problem when we are talking about loss of biodiversity, evil quartet ka one of the parts is invasive species. Invasive species means that the ones that can grow very, very rapidly. Grow rapidly. Okay, they are also inhibitive. They won't allow the native plants to grow. One is removal of invasives. Okay, people will introduce plastic waste. Okay, they said that you cannot take anything out of the forest, but people will take something inside the forest. That is how the plastic waste will be created. So this wastage has to be removed. Third, eco-restoration activities. That means assessment of biodiversity. Assessment simply means that we need to quantify. Okay, quantify both plants as well as animals. Okay, plants, particularly for your traditional knowledge, medicinal plants, animals as well, so that you can observe if there is any kind of killing or not. Biofencing with native plants. What is biofencing? Biofencing. It is use of a biotic component. Use of biotic component. In this case, we are talking about plant. The plant that is endemic. Endemic to this sacred grove. And fencing means that you will keep others outside. Okay, this will be like a protective layer to the sacred grove. It marks the beginning of the sacred grove. This is your biofencing. Then pond rejuvenation for wildlife support. Pond rejuvenation for wildlife support, this is absolute necessary. The reason is that if the ponds are not rejuvenated, that means there is decrease in water levels, and if there is decrease in water levels, you will find that the animals will move out. Animals move out. This will create human-wildlife conflict. For the animals to stay within the sacred grove, you will find that there is a need for pond rejuvenation. Okay. So core insight here is that sacred groves are seen as micro ecosystems and not just cultural sites. Micro ecosystems means you're talking about the unit of nature which has the various functions. The functions would be your cycling of nutrients, nutrient cycling, as well as your energy transfer, energy flow. All of this in a small format. When we talk about sacred groves, we are not saying that they should be reduced to cultural sites. Distribution and framework, legal framework. There are certain names for sacred groves. This has been prepared, the list. Okay. Sarna, remember these names. Sarna is in Bihar or Jharkhand. Okay. You can find how many sacred groves are there. Okay, within this map. Which one has the highest one? Maharashtra. 2820. 2820. Take a second. Karnataka. Okay. So at least these two you should remember. Third, Tamil Nadu. Okay. In case of sacred groves. Sacred groves names. Some of these names you can remember. You should remember actually. Orans are there in Rajasthan. Orans in Rajasthan. Deorais, Maharashtra. Lock and tongues in Meghalaya. Kavu, that we are reading right now, Kerala. Devara Kadu in Karnataka. What is the legal framework? Legal framework 1 is at the level of Biological Diversity Act. At the level of Biological Diversity Act, we have a three-tier mechanism. We have National Biodiversity Authority, State Biodiversity Board, and the last one is Biological Management Committees. Under this Biological Management Committees, you will have PBR. What is PBR? People's Biodiversity Register. People's Biodiversity Register will have the responsibility to document all the traditional knowledge. Okay? So under this, when we talk about sacred groves, when we are talking about medicinal plants and removal of invasive alien species, we are talking about biodiversity management committees. Only in that sense sacred groves is there. But it is actually listed under Wildlife Protection Amendment Act 2002. Okay? We talk about community reserves. It was through this amendment only that community reserves as well as conservation reserves, both of these were included in WPA. Earlier you had only national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Okay? So when we talk about community reserve or conservation reserve, if there is a statement that community reserve is a protected area or not, it is a protected area. What are the protected areas under WPA? Community reserves, conservation reserves, and tiger reserves. Next, this can definitely come in your exam in some way or the other. ठीक है, International Big Cat Alliance. International Big Cat Alliance. So International Big Cat Alliance is drafting the New Delhi Declaration. It is very, very important. Ahead of Global Big Cat Summit in June 2026. Becomes perfect for UPSC to ask question on this. And as it is, Project Tiger is something that they are always asking about. Project Tiger का कितने, how many years completed? 53, 1973 it was there. And since when did the tiger census start? Started since 2006. This year is 2026. How many years? 20 years. And also this would be the next census year. Okay, so Project Tiger, very, very important. Also, in the last current affairs, I think last class, I talked about that there were spottings of three big cats, leopard, cheetah and tiger in the same spot. Okay, it was a coincidence and it was important. There was Ranthambore Tiger Reserve, that was in news. Okay, so you could find questions on this, so you will have to prepare this at least. Why important? It may become the first global political declaration on big cat conservation. This is huge. This is the reason that big cat conservation, it does not have a collaboration with respect to all the countries. Okay. So insight is India is moving from national conservation leader to global wildlife diplomat. That means we are going for saving the animal on the international stage. International stage. Just like we have in International Solar Alliance. International Solar Alliance, we try to go for the renewable energy and we try to pull other countries also inside and make commitments. Okay? So we are not saying, we are saying that we have declared, we have exhibited that there is proficiency that we have exhibited in the Project Tiger 1973. How many tigers are there? 126. 176. Okay, 3,176 tigers are there. Which state has the highest number of tigers? Maharashtra or Karnataka? Madhya Pradesh or Karnataka, sorry. It is Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So for us, what is important? First of all, 7 big cats are there. 7 big cats. Okay. 2 are leopards. One is a snow leopard and one is the ordinary leopard. Both of them, what is the IUCN status? Both of them vulnerable. You check for snow leopard, I think it is vulnerable only. Cheetah. Cheetah, we talk about 2 types of cheetahs are there in the world. Asiatic cheetah and African cheetah. Asiatic is critically endangered. Only a few individuals are left, that too in Iran. African cheetah. African cheetah is vulnerable. 5 to 6,000 individuals. That is why they agreed to give it to us. Give some of those African cheetah to us. Tiger. Endangered lion. Endangered puma and jaguar, you will have to see. ठीक है, these two. But these are the 7 big cats. 7 big cats: lion, tiger, cheetah, jaguar, puma, leopard and snow leopard. Leopard and snow leopard. ठीक है, difference between cheetah and leopard: spots. This has rosettes. It has solid black spots. Tear mark. Tear mark is present in whom? Cheetah. Who is faster? Cheetah. ठीक है, चलो. IBCA, it was launched in 2023 during the 50 years of Project Tiger, directly linked to your 1973 to 2023, and in that you have this IBCA, Indian International Solar Alliance. Okay, it is inspired by the International Solar Alliance. That is, we talk about the renewable sources of energy, especially solar energy. One fact is there that IBCA headquarter is approved in India in 2024. This they can ask as a statement. Now the proposed New Delhi Declaration that is associated with this IBCA, the key proposals are: 1. Landscape level conservation beyond protected areas. The thing is, why do we need landscape level conservation? We are not just talking about the species, we are not just talking about the habitats of these species, we are talking about the entire ecosystems. Ecosystem. Landscape means whether it is forests, okay, whether it is grasslands, whatever type of habitat they have, in entirety. And it should be beyond the protected areas. That means we are not just talking about the species that are there protected in the protected areas being national parks, it being wildlife sanctuaries, okay, in just these things. No, we are also talking about when they move outside, whether they have that kind of a protection or not under WPA Schedule 1, just like that. Okay, ecological corridors across fragmented habitats. The need of ecological corridors, because we understand that loss of biodiversity takes place because I have two different habitats, habitat 1 and habitat 2. When both of them or one of them, this is suppose say it is degraded, then the animal should have the option to move out from habitat 1 to habitat 2. This kind of a corridor is needed. If you do not provide for such kind of a corridor, it moves out and then it will interact and then it will find itself in human-wildlife conflict. Okay? So this means that there must be resources available in the habitat. If it is not present, then provide for another close by habitat and connect it with an ecological corridor. If you don't do so, then you will face problem with the humans coming in contact, and this will lead to conservation problems in conservation. Okay? Now transboundary cooperation. Transboundary cooperation, we talk about two things, two animals, snow leopard and tiger. Snow leopard. Where is snow leopard found? Mainly in the northern zones, in the altitudes, in the higher altitudes. You will find that snow leopard is vulnerable, and also snow leopard is transboundary. What do we mean by transboundary? That means it can cross over the political boundaries as well. Okay? So when we are talking about conservation, it cannot be just limited to the region that they are staying in. It also includes the region that they can actually go to, cross the political boundaries. Tiger also, you will find that our tigers will also go to Nepal. Okay, they will cross over this border, they will go to Nepal, and there also they will face this human-wildlife conflict. So there is a cooperation that is needed at both the levels. Both the countries should go for cooperation. Then wildlife crime control, intelligence sharing. Intelligence sharing, this is about the movement of the animal. Movement of animal as well as any kind of illegal activities. Coordinated enforcement against illegal trade. Illegal trade of the skins of any kind of animal derived products. These kind of illegal activities must be stopped. Finance integration, the proposal says that you must link it with CBD, this is Convention on Biological Diversity, link it with Sustainable Developmental Goals and climate finance. Okay? We are saying that if we are to propose this kind of a declaration, then there has to be landscape based conservation, there has to be construction of ecological corridors, there has to be transboundary cooperation. How will we get the finances? We will take the funds from CBD. What is the target under CBD? Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework talks about 30 by 30. मतलब 30% animal, 30% oceans, 30% land by 2030. So utilize the funds that is there. Before Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, what did we have? Aichi biodiversity targets. Okay, these are set of 20 goals. Then it says utilize the funds that you are allocating under SDGs. There are certain number of SDGs. They will talk about life on land. Okay. Then climate finance. Why climate finance? How can you correlate this? Because of migration, because of destruction of habitat. Okay. Habitat degradation is also due to the climate change. And then you have One Health approach. One Health approach means that we are not just looking human health in isolation, we are linking it with the livestock, we are linking it with the animals also. Okay. We must understand, we must come to understand, since we have experienced so many unfortunate spread of diseases like Ebola, Zika, all of these things, it tells us that we must adopt One Health approach, wherein we must look at the health of the wildlife as well as the livestock. Zoonotic diseases, ठीक है, spread from animals. Now, why big cats matter? एक तो they are already at the apex. They will keep the population below them in check. Okay, apex predators. They regulate the trophic cascades. We already know how does the pyramid work. Okay, we talk about pyramid of numbers. You'll find that in grassland ecosystems or forest ecosystems, you'll find that the apex predators would be the least in number, but will be very, very efficient in controlling the population of the next layer in the trophic chain. Umbrella species. Umbrella species protect the entire ecosystem. What is umbrella species? Collapse. Sorry. That is keystone species. When we talk about umbrella species is the one that if I conserve this species, then I will be able to conserve the other species as well. है ना? There was an example. This is tiger, this is deer, this is grass. Okay. If I start having project deer, what will happen? I will have to have decline in the population of tigers. I will have to increase the population of grassland. Okay. And that is the reason I have project tiger, because that will keep in check the deer as well as the grass population. This is umbrella species. Okay. They are indicators of ecosystem health. Indicators of ecosystem health. That means if there is a decline in their population, then you can directly correlate it with degradation of habitat. What is the diplomatic importance? This was the ecological importance. What is the diplomatic importance when we talk about our cooperation with other countries? One, we are seen as a global conservation norm setter. That means we want conservation to be prior. Also, you will see that one of the coordinating points here is that Wildlife Protection Act was actually linked to CITES. है ना? Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. So we have linked this. So we are going for conservation in a global manner. Expands South-South cooperation. This is between the developing countries. Between the developing countries, we are setting this narrative. And we have a strong Africa outreach. Strong Africa outreach. Economic importance. Why should we go for this kind of alliance? What is the economic importance behind it? And you will see that ecological importance, economic importance, and then there is social welfare also. One is ecotourism. Ecotourism. That means this kind of a sustainable, this has to be, by the way, this has to be sustainable. It should not be at the expense of the animals. It should not be at the expense of the habitats of the animals that we are providing for tourism in these places. Ecotourism has to be sustainable. And from this, whatever revenue we derive must be used in conservation. Second, biodiversity finance potential. That means when we are talking about the global biodiversity framework, this will also generate the required revenue to run this program. Third, reduces conflict and wildlife crime losses. It reduces conflict and wildlife crime losses. Simply, if a tiger or a leopard or a cheetah moves out of their habitat, okay, and it moves to a place where there are human settlements and there is human wildlife conflict, if this habitat is converted into something that is there for ecotourism, you'll find that the settlers around these forests or these grasslands, they will find it difficult. They will not have this kind of conflict. The conflict will be reduced because these are a kind of revenue generators for them. Okay, so they will be practicing extreme caution and they will remain safe from their vicinity, but they will not be harming them. This human wildlife conflict will be reduced. Now, this is related to your renewable energy and also biodiversity. So it says India's first green methanol plant to turn Kutch's most invasive weed into marine fuel. Okay. So first, where it is, which port? Kandla port. This can be asked, है ना? Kandla port, Deen Dayal port. First green methanol plant. ठीक है? Prosopis julifera has actually been asked in your paper. है ना? This is a previous year question. Prosopis julifera, very innovative way of asking it. They have just named it and then they have given statements about what kind of species it is. ठीक है? So it will decrease the number of native species. Outcompete them because they grow very, very rapidly. Now the proposal is that can we use them as fuel? Okay. So insight is that invasive species problem. Now this problem, we are seeing opportunity in this issue. Invasive species problem into clean fuel solution. That means can it become a clean fuel? That is what we are exploring. This is a picture of Prosopis julifera that has spread over almost a desert-like condition. So first of all, static background. Okay. Since we say that it is invasive, it means it grows, reproduces very rapidly. Alien means it is not native, not endemic. Alien because Mexican origin. Mexican origin invasive shrub. It was introduced in India when? In 1920s to 1960s. The reason for this introduction was desertification control. That means desertification matlab we are going for grasslands or forests that are getting converted into deserts. Forests by the way of deforestation, grasslands by the way of wind erosion. From the deserts, you will find that the sand particles will come and collect on the grasslands. So we thought let us utilize Prosopis julifera. It can survive in adverse conditions also. With major abiotic limiting factors also it can survive. So let us use it as a solution to the increasing desertification. Problem, and what was the problem? It spread across the Banni grasslands. This is in Kutch. This will be something that can be asked. Very important. Okay. Banni grasslands. It replaces the native grasses. Okay. That means it outcompetes them. And it harms the pastoral livelihoods. This is understood because grasslands are absolute necessary for the cattles. Cattles that are owned by tribes in this Banni grasslands. Okay. It is basically they sell the milk of the cattles. So green methanol, what it talks about, the biomass is gasified. Biomass gasification, it will convert itself into syngas, and then you will have the production of methanol. Syngas, what is syngas? Yes. ठीक है. So ecological and energy significance. First, ecological benefit. It removes the invasive biomass. That means it is something that we do not have to take care of, and it is not something that is going to harm the endemic species, endemic plant species anymore. Second, it supports the grassland restoration. That means any kind of desertification that is going to occur. It is also because of invasion by these kind of plants which are xerophytic in nature. Invasion by xerophytic plants. Xerophytic plants are ones that are adapted to desert-like conditions. Then circular economy logic. That means we are utilizing a waste or a problem, we are converting it as a economic resource. Okay? Circular economy means that you are able to have that original product. Okay, it started as a raw material, it was used in the economy, and then it feeds back into the economy. Okay? So we are not just talking about the waste, we are also talking about the problem of biodiversity. So when we talk about plastic waste, we are saying that it started out as a waste after the usage of the after the end of the life of the product. After that, it was recycled, it was fed back into the economy. That is your circular economy. Then energy transition, it supports the green ports policy. Okay? Reduces the dependence on bunker fuel. That means the ones that are used by the ships. Emission reduction potential. What is the emission reduction potential? It is said that CO2 will get reduced up to 95%. 95% reduction. And then NOx, that is your nitrogen oxides, this will reduce up to 80%. Okay? And then you have sulfur oxides and PM. Sulfur oxides, sulfur oxide will contain SO2 as well as SO3. Sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. And PM is particulate matter. All of this will be reduced. Okay. So ecological and energy significance. One, it is driven by International Maritime Organization norms. IMO is a specialized agency under UN. Second, energy security. It can reduce the oil imports. Okay? Oil demand will be reduced because we are using methanol. Feedstock diversification. That means feedstock that is for cattle. This is for cattle. They can also use bagasse, they can also use cotton stalks, they can also use agricultural residues. Okay, these are the alternatives. Governance convergence, one is in climate policy, okay, talking about the habitat degradation. Bioenergy, that is deriving energy out of the biotic components, that means living organisms. Invasive species management, and waste to energy. Waste to energy. This is also a model of waste to energy. In waste to energy, we try to segregate effectively so that the energy part has maximum calorific value in the raw materials. Now try to answer these questions. First, consider the following statements regarding Nilgiri Thar. Endemic to Western Ghats? Yes, it is endemic. It inhabits montane grasslands and shola forests. This is also correct. It is classified as vulnerable under IUCN Red List. ये बताया था. This is endangered, है ना? This is endangered, so this is wrong. So answer is A, 1 and 2. ठीक है? Next. This is about sacred groves. With the reference to sacred groves in India, consider the following statements. First, sacred groves are an example of in situ conservation. This is right. Second, exploitation of vegetation and wildlife is traditionally restricted in sacred groves. This is also right. Third one, Orans are sacred groves found in Meghalaya. This is in Rajasthan. For Meghalaya, ठीक है. So answer is again A, 1 and 2. Next, this is about green methanol. Green methanol can be produced through biomass gasification. This is one of the steps in the procedure, biomass gasification. Prosopis juliflora is an invasive species in India. Yes. What is the origin of this? Mexico. ठीक है. Green methanol is being promoted as an alternative maritime fuel. Yes, it is because we are talking about it replacing and introducing more amount of bunker fuel. So this will reduce our imports. Answer is 1, 2 and 3. D. ठीक है.